That's what makes you an A player. Like, okay, maybe this isn't my domain, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm not going to go to people and rely on people. Even though I have the resources, I'm first going to try and troubleshoot this and figure out how and what.
I actually had a question come up, and if someone's listening to this, Linda, and they're like, am I an A player? How do I know if I'm an A player? Does an A player just know they're an A player?
We meet hundreds of marketers and we've learned what differentiates an A versus a B player.
Welcome to the Marketing Mentors podcast, brought to you by Red Pandas Digital. I am terrific Tasha. I just gave myself.
Why do we do this? How have we gotten here?
I don't know, but I just thought I'd do that. So I'm Tasha. I'm joined by the legendary Linda, of course. And today we're talking about what makes an A player marketer. But before we do, I have to share, we have big news, big announcement. On the 31st of October this year, Red Pandas are running our very first digital marketing and sales conference. And the way we're explaining it is it's the only digital marketing and sales conference that you should be going to in 2023. So if you're interested to learn more about what it is, yours truly and Linda will be delivering talks. Linda's will be on AI, which is going to be super cool, and mine will be on customer journey mapping. Head over to our website, redpandas.com.au, and you can learn more and buy tickets and all that type of stuff. There's early bird. Anyway, moving right along. That was my little plug.
Love it.
So back to the episode, which is A player marketers. And like Linda said, over the years of working with many different businesses, different sizes, different people, different products, services, we've met hundreds of marketers. And I feel like we've cracked the code in terms of what makes a marketer an A player versus a B player or everything else.
Yeah.
But I think before we get into what those things are, let's, for anyone that's listening that's not sure of this reference that we keep talking about A players and B players, from my point of view, and I know Linda's got a more professional one she'll share, but from my point of view, when I was 16 and I was put into a soccer team, the girls' soccer team, I wasn't good enough to be in the A team.
Oh.
So I was put in 16B. It may have even been C, to be honest, but I think it was B. But pretty much,
you're still part of the team.
Thanks, Linda. I just didn't cut it for the A team back then, like I just didn't have the skills that these other girls did. But that's the best analogy I can give in terms of a team. So you have the A team, which is, the first draft, if you will, and then there's the B team, which are, are good, like for all intents and purposes they're good, but they're just not those A players, the superstars. What was the reference or the analogy that you had?
Well, I like that one because it makes it realistic and it puts everything like into context. But I think a lot of what we're going to be talking about today, it's derived from a particular book. So for anyone that's interested, it is called Impact Players by Liz Wiseman. It was only released in 2021, so it is pretty new. But we often talk internally of this concept of A players versus B players. And as T said, we've kind of identified things and more so behaviours as well as mindset. So having a particular type of mindset and then practicing particular type of behaviors.
Yeah.
And those two things combined is what we tend to see really form A players and how they differentiate from your B player. And for us, we overarchingly, we see A players as those people that can be parachuted into any role and be able to work with it and create success from it. And you see the success not only individually but for the entire company.
Yeah, I like that.
And they really they come to that every day. They come to every day just with that top level mentality and they show those top level behaviors. So let's perhaps jump into it, T, and start talking about some of those things that we've observed. And you'll find, guys, that it does kind of stem across types of or practicing particular behaviors, or you'll find some of these as well are more mindset related.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that that first one that we're going to get into is really a mindset piece. So we've noticed with these marketers that they have this attitude that they are eternal students.
Yeah.
And if you will, you could also couple this nicely with growth mindset in the sense that they are constantly learning. A teacher or a student is always wanting to learn more. They know that there is always something more to learn and something that anyone can teach them. I feel like expert marketers, expert professionals, even if you will, they don't do a 9 to 5. They don't just rock up, do their job and head out. They take responsibility over their role. They question things in their role. They investigate. They spend more time in things. They dig away until they have, whether it's a solution, the answer, more information, but it's this mindset of, I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers, so I need to learn more and do better and be better.
Yeah.
Just tangibly, they read books, complete courses, attend conferences, inside, outside of work.
Yeah.
They might be working on things in their personal life that will no doubt affect the way they perform at work.
Yeah.
Or they find these, cross skilling kind of skills, cross path skills in a way, so they can use these interchangeable skills, if you will.
Yeah. I love that. I think, there's that growth mindset. And then I think what comes with that as well is that opportunity mindset as well. And I think they work hand in hand together, because I feel like if you sharpen one tool, then you'll sharpen the other.
Yeah.
And that was very like growth mindset related, which is so important. It's what we focus on. But I feel like naturally what comes out of that is an opportunity type mindset.
Yeah.
And so in that book particularly, it references like these 5 challenges that like we tend to face, like common challenges that we face in the workplace. Like every individual, not even just marketers, but just across the workplace, 5 obstacles or challenges that we tend to always have to overcome, or we at least face one of them. And it's about approaching those with an opportunity mindset and not looking at those things as threats. And so some of these things, T, I'll read them out to you. So messy problems, number 1, unclear roles, which is a really interesting one because a lot of people tend to run away and avoid. So we can even sit on that a little bit longer. But unclear roles, unforeseen obstacles, moving targets, and unrelenting burdens.
Yeah, okay.
So just like a heap of workload.
Yeah.
And it's unrelenting and it can't stop.
So you're saying an opportunity mindset.
They respond differently to those things.
Yeah. I was about to say, for me personally, and I know you would be as well, you lean into some of that stuff. Because you're like, this is uncomfortable. I don't know what to do with this. Okay, let me lean in and figure out a little bit more. Yeah. And that's that opportunity mindset. It's like, cool, I have no idea what this role looks like, but I want to be good at it.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity to like add value and learn more. Yeah. And it's going into that with that mindset as opposed to, oh my God, like
it's not my job. I don't get paid enough to do this.
Yeah, exactly. That's the exact mindset when it comes to like unclear roles, for example. This isn't my job. I'm not getting paid enough to do this. Yeah, typical one-liner. But catching on to those little phrases that people say give you a glimpse as to how they approach these sort of like common challenges that most people will come across in their work life.
And obviously we're speaking like, realistically. I'm not saying your boss asks you to go babysit your kids. 100%. That is not on your job description. You don't have to be doing that. No, you've never asked me to babysit your kids. It's all good. Got my own kids to babysit. Kid. But no, that's a really good point, Linda. I like that. I think it's those moments of uncertainty, or traditionally where less A player type people would run away from or whinge, complain, if you will, be a Debbie Downer on them. They actually lean into them and see them as opportunities. I love that.
Doing the job that's needed, stepping up, getting the work done, like making light work, like all of those things where, you look at, maybe have a look at the people that you're working with and think like, do they do that when they're coming across one of these challenges? And that will kind of give you a glimpse as to the type of mentality that they might have.
Yeah. A or B. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's a nice movement into our next item, which is the feeling of not being proud of the people that you work with. And like, I can resonate with this one so much because I hate you all so much. I'm joking. Oh my God. That even feels weird saying it. No, I absolutely adore the people that I work with. There's a reason why I've been here for so long is because we have such an incredible culture here. Yeah. But I can resonate with this feeling because I have worked in places before, and I'm sure, you can relate, and then other people can, where you work with people, team members, or even bosses that you don't have that like feeling of like pride or that feeling of like, I love working with you, or I really enjoy working with you. Yeah. I can learn from you. We can grow together. Or the most layman's way I can say it is being proud of someone you work for. Like if you can put your hand on your heart and say, I'm really proud of the business I work for, or the company, or the people. Yeah. I think you're in a really good place. There's a good fit there. And obviously it fits your cultural, values and needs or whatever. But I just distinctly remember a time being in my, one of my previous employers, and we were in a sales meeting, and the person that was selling was just feature dumping something completely wrong, saying the wrong stuff, making himself look like a bit of a fool, and then kind of like dragging me along with it. And I was like, oh, no, I don't like this feeling. Like, and you know how you remember negative feelings for a reason?
Yeah.
It was like, I don't want to work with someone that I'm not really proud to work with.
Yeah.
And if someone that I worked with I wasn't proud of, if they are an A player and have a growth mindset or an opportunity mindset, I can have, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, but I can have a radically candid conversation with them and saying, hey, I think you could do this better.
Yeah.
And then they do better, and then we grow together. That's who you want to be proud of.
Yeah.
When you work for.
Yeah, I think the concept here, what we're talking about is like A players, they hate being the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you'll come across people, and you know, I have people in mind that I've come across in the past, and they're really intelligent people, but they are the smartest person in the room, and they shouldn't be. You know what I mean? That they should be challenging themselves more than what they are, and they're complicit with where they are. And I think that's what we're really looking at here. Like you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. What's that saying? I think, show me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah,
like
you are who you are around.
Yeah, it's that classic saying, and it's true. You know, if you are surrounded by B player mentalities, then it's going to rub off on you naturally. Yeah. And it's important to keep looking at those people around you personally, professionally, and thinking about the people that you're in the room with, and always wanting to upskill.
Yeah.
I know he's a CEO, founder of a really successful real estate agency. And I'm talking like really successful, very, very successful. And he has 3 mentors. So he's always making sure that he's at the top of his game and that he can always do better and be better for the people around him as well. Yeah. He's got a mentor for finance, a mentor for business, and then mentor for mindset as well. And I absolutely love that. That's the sort of mentality that we're talking about here.
Yeah, that forever student, that growth mindset, and then that not being smartest person in the room, because you want to be able to bounce ideas off of people, share your creative flows, be proud of the people that you work with, and proudly wear the business's jumper, right? Do you know what I mean?
And I think as well, just marketers in general won't stick around if in my opinion, if they don't get that. Like for us, I feel like marketers, I think it attracts a certain type of personality. Like you're innovative, you're creative type personality, and
if that's not being done as well. Yeah.
True, exactly. Yeah. Well, you've got your integrator, which is like the get shit done, and then you've got your visionary, right? And you're a marketer, you tend to fall into one or the other. Yeah. It's important to be able to do both.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And I think we're going to talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, we are actually in 2 points, but we'll go to the next one, which is the best. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. So the best only work when marketing is seen as a profit center. Yeah. So just to break that down a bit more, traditionally, businesses have seen marketing. So business needs to cut costs. They go to marketing, and they cut costs in marketing, and then they go hire another salesperson. And it's like far out. Like really. And businesses like that look at marketers or marketing department as a cost center as opposed to a profit center. Yeah. So a good A player marketer will know and see the benefit and the value of a business, appreciating that marketing and sales are actually should be one unified team. Mm-hmm. There shouldn't be silos, and that the work that they're doing as a marketer should be attributed to revenue.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And I think as well, if you find that you have a marketer and they're not willing, let's say you do treat your marketing department as a cost center. If you have marketers that come in, leave,
that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's like the people that are willing
that you're a cost center.
Yeah. And like the only person that's willing to put up with that is someone that does not have an A player mentality.
Yeah, and they're probably like maybe they were, and then their creativity just got like stifled after years of being seen as a cost center. They're like, well, I give up. Like we've all met marketers that are like this, and big corporates, and every creative idea that comes up has to go through this like 50-step approval process. It's like, no, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. And it's like, all right, I'm going to give up before I even try. that's what's happened. Maybe they were once A players, but then they were just stifled for too long.
Yeah.
Or to Linda's point, you're going to get A players in. They're going to quickly realize there is no room for their growth mindset to be here. And they're quickly becoming the smartest person in the room. So they're going to bugger off.
Yeah.
And they're going to find somewhere else where they can keep growing and keep learning and being proud of the people that they work with.
Yeah, exactly.
And we mentioned before, we'll go on to that next point, which was what we were talking about before, and a nice segue, because marketers are great planners, but they're even better doers. Yeah. So like Linda was saying, you got that visionary, and what was the other one? Integrator.
Yeah, you've got your integrator and your visionary. Yeah, so your integrator is like the person that just like gets in there, gets shit done. Yep. And then you've got your visionary who is always like thinking like 5 steps ahead, like future planning, vision, innovation, and you'll tend to find that you naturally are one over the other, but it's so important to be able to do both. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about here. Like, you need to be able to get into the trenches and get your hands dirty and know how all the foundation works, because without that, it's really hard to be an effective visionary without having done the integrator work. Yeah.
And I think that's what A players strive for. If they know they have those knowledge gaps and they feel like, oh, I don't know how to do high converting landing pages, for example. Yeah. They'll go figure it out, do some, get some experience, make some mistakes, and then have that knowledge with them. Or
I love that. Like it's about the person being able to find like the unwritten rules to figure out how to do something or what they need to do to be able to do that thing. Yeah. That's what makes you an A player. Like, okay, maybe this isn't my domain, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm not going to go to people and rely on people. Even though I have the resources, I'm first going to try and troubleshoot this and figure out how and what.
Yeah, I like that. I actually had a question come up, and we do have one final point I want to make, but I feel like this question is going to be good for the discussion. If someone's listening to this, Linda, and they're like, am I an A player? How do I know if I'm an A player? Does an A player just know they're an A player? Do you have to do a test? Like, I feel like I'm an A player.
Do a test against our topics that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
No, seriously. Like,
and what if someone thinks, like, if they're looking, they're looking within themselves and they're like, am I? And they don't think they are. Can one become an A player? Do you think it's a skill they can like work on and learn?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like practice behavior. Yeah. And a practice mindset. You don't just wake up one day and you're like, okay, I have a growth mindset now. Yeah, like that shit takes time.
Okay, I have a growth mindset. Tomorrow I'll have a growth mindset.
And the day after, I'm an opportunist. Yeah. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you're right.
You have to practice behaviors and practice this. Yeah.
All of them.
And like, as we said, like, it's a combination of behavior and mindset. Yeah. And you have to work on that, like, day in and day out.
Well, I guess an A player is doing it already, right? And if someone's looking within themselves and they're like, I don't think I am, but I want to be, and I aspire to be better and do better, I think you kind of are. Yeah. The fact that you're looking within yourself and you're already saying, I want to do better and I don't think I've got all of these things, I want to do more. You're already kind of ticking a box of there's a mindset there.
Totally. Yeah.
Now act on that behavior. I think you're right. It's a really both of those things, right?
I think being able to be introspective and look within is a really good first step.
Yeah, okay.
Like, we have topics here, of course. Like, we have, I think, like 5 key points that we're talking about here, and those things are going to take time. But I think, yeah, you're right, T. The first step is actually like being able to introspectively like sit with yourself, look within, and really like challenge, like, do I do these? Am I open to these behaviors and thoughts? Which one do I need to work on the most? Yeah, and being able to look at that. I think not allowing time for that behavior then I think allows you to bypass a lot of these things and maybe ignore some place. Yeah.
Oh, it just does by default. Yeah. And maybe B players wouldn't be listening to this podcast, let's say, because they're not open to learning and growing.
Well, yeah, self-development.
My fault.
Congrats, guys. You're all A players.
Yeah, well done. If you listen to Marketing Mentors, you're an A player. Make that a snippet. Oh my God. Oh, anyway, it's always a pleasure, Linda. The last one, I really like this one, but I'm also conscious that I don't think it's something that maybe great marketers have right away. Okay. Or they are open to, they're definitely open to it. Yeah. But this final piece is great marketers, or even just great professionals, appreciate radical candor and psychological safety. Yeah. So the reason why I say they might not realize is because if they haven't had radical candor before in a workspace, they don't know what they're missing out on.
Yeah.
But if you're a true A player and you are presented with a psychological, and the same goes for psych safety, if you're a true A player and you're presented with a workspace or a leadership that gives you psych safety and is radically candid, and you can see that and you're appreciative of it, you can reciprocate it. And I think that is where the A player marketer comes from.
Yeah, it's going to be so hard for you to be able to challenge people directly and actually voice your opinions if you're working for a company that doesn't foster that and doesn't facilitate that sort of like open communication. So I think, you're right. It's so dependent on the company and the culture. Yeah.
And it's not, like I will drive home. It's not until it's presented to you that you go, whoa, this is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been missing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a level of emotional intelligence, right? To realize, I am all these other things, but I don't think I've got psych safety and radical candor in my workplace. As a great marketer, right?
Yeah. There's so much that's dependent on that. Like, I feel like you're right. You have to have the experience first in an industry, like to be able to feel confident and comfortable, to be able to have that sort of like direct communication with your colleagues. That's one thing. So like, I think like it just takes time in your industry. I think as well, like how fresh you are in a job.
Yeah.
Like, if you are 1 month into a new job, then, you're probably just doing a lot of active listening and listening a lot. So it's not going to be so possible.
Exactly.
But once you're forming those, professional relationships with your colleagues and you're at that point and you have been in the industry for a very long time, or just, you have experience, it'll allow you to be able to practice that skill of being able to be radically candid.
Yeah. And to that point, the culture of where you work makes a huge difference.
That as well. Yeah.
Makes a huge difference because, if you're somewhere that doesn't foster that psych safety, doesn't appreciate and use radical candor in their communications, then, well, obviously it's not gonna work out. Yeah. But like, just to give Red Pandas a mad plug, like those are two of our, I think one of those is one of our cult values, excuse me. So psychological safety is one of our values. Yeah. And radical candor is something that we practice across all of our work. Yeah. Well, we all try to, because it's not something you can just do straight away. Yeah. We're all working on it. It's a skill that we're all working through.
I think as a leader, like if you are a marketing leader, the question I would ask yourself is, if the person you report to or the other members of the leadership team, right? If you're not able to disagree with an opinion or a direction of the business, if you're not able to do that, then I think that you should work on
question marks.
Yeah. If there's question marks there, then I think radical candor is something that you can really look at. Yeah. Because that's maybe the more difficult part of radical candor, being able to say no or being able to challenge directly, like really challenge. Yeah. And topics that are really important and serious, like a direction of the company or direction of a particular team member.
I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just about to finish No Rules by Reed Hastings. It's a mad Netflix plug, but it's basically some really interesting learnings from like a culture point of view and within a workspace. And one of them is on that, like Reed Hastings, the CEO of Netflix, was saying like, I want people to disagree with me. Like, I'm challenging you to disagree with me because you have the company's best interest at heart. Yeah. They only hire A players. Yeah. And there's a whole other story to it. But I wanted to share one last thing on that. Was in that book I also read, and this is an interesting one. So often organizations will say, oh, we're like a family. Yeah. We treat each other like a family. We're a family here, blah, 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 blah. I actually think that's the wrong way of looking at it, because with your family, you have to stick around with them despite their performance.
It's so brutal.
You know what I mean? It's so true though. It's so true. That's your brother. You got to put up with your brother. He's your blood, right? Blah, 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 brother. I love my brother, by the way. He's amazing. Okay. If he's listening, I love you, bro. But where No Rules says, to use a different analogy, is we're not a family. We are a professional sports team. Yeah. If you look at a professional sports team, they have to work hard to get on that team, number one.
Yeah.
And then they have to keep working hard to maintain on that team.
I like that.
There's a saying in that book, and I really liked it's cutthroat, but I liked it. It was like adequate performance gets a very generous severance package.
Mm-hmm.
So adequate performance gets a generous severance package.
Right.
Basically saying we won't accept anything less than, above average.
Yeah.
Now that's like I said, cutthroat. We're not doing that at Red Pen. We can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
But it's this idea of a player mentality, impact player mentality. We are a team. We're a professional sports team, and we work hard to all go towards this collective goal together.
Yeah, I love that.
And we bring each other up. We're not a family.
Yeah.
We're not a family. I'm cool
Hate
you say
you
that. Yeah. We do love red pandas though. And I'll finish on, make sure you head to our website to check out the event. There are limited seats and limited time on early bird pricing. So make sure you get a ticket before the price goes up because they're not cheap. But you're going to be in for a delight. We've got Marcus Sheridan coming down from the States to deliver a keynote. Moby's talking about, selling in 2023 using visual aids. Like I said, Linda is on AI, which is like the hottest topic in the world right now. So apart from like Threads, maybe that new social media thing. Myself on customer journey mapping. So would love to see some listeners there. Help us spread the word. And Linda, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Likewise, T. See you soon.
Bye.